The NFL is highlight heaven, but it's also one of the strictest dress codes in pro sports. This breakdown keeps each topic flowing. First, the real reasons players leaned into a look or piece of gear. Then, why the league decided it had to rein it in. Safety, uniformity, and branding, or competitive integrity. No bullet points, just a smooth, viewer-first story for each accessory. Tinted and mirrored visors. For a generation of defensive backs and skill players, a dark visor was more than glare control. It was theater. Mirrored lenses killed the poker tells in a receiver's eyes, cut stadium light glare, and delivered that cold, futuristic robot vibe that photographs beautifully. Guys felt locked in behind the tint, and opponents swore they couldn't read intentions pre-snap. The look spread fast because it was equal parts practical and iconic. The league's problem wasn't fashion, it was triage. After head or neck trauma, trainers have to read pupils immediately, and deep tints slow that down. So the NFL tightened the rules. Clear shields stayed, and years later, a light, medical-friendly tint was approved. But blackout and mirror styles still need documented exemptions. On Sundays, safety and sideline access win. Non-standard combat face masks. As custom gear exploded, some linemen embraced overbuilt cages with extra bars, selling an image of unbreakable armor. Players swore the designs kept hands out and felt like a personal shield in the trenches, while fans loved the gladiator aesthetic. It was intimidation you could see in a still photo. Testing told a different story. Added bars meant added weight, tighter sight lines, and more places for fingers to snag. By 2014, the league moved to standardize, leaning on certification data that flagged safety issues. A few medical exemptions lingered, but once modern, safer cages were available, the extravagant builds disappeared from game day. Bandanas and non-team headgear. In the 90s, bandanas and head ties felt like football's handshake with street culture. Sweat control, swagger, and individuality all in one piece. They became part of a player's visual identity, from warm-ups to interviews, and helped stars carve out a personal brand within a team sport. The NFL looked at the broadcast and saw inconsistency. Off-brand logos, clashing colors, and mixed messaging on national TV. It tightened the standard to team-issued skull caps in team colors with approved marks. No grand safety debate here. Just the decision that the shield's unified look beats personal headwear on the field. Messages on eye black began as simple glare reduction, but it evolved into tiny billboards, tributes, scripture, memorials, inside jokes. Cameras loved the close-ups, and fans connected with the stories, giving routine snaps a layer of personality and meaning. The league's calculus prioritized neutrality. Game equipment is not a message board, so rules shut down unapproved writing on gear. That kept broadcasts focused on the play and avoided debates that could swallow a Sunday. The paint stayed, the words didn't. Custom cleats, except my cause, my cleats. Sneaker culture hit the sideline hard. Hand-painted themes, metallic plates, movie homages. Cleats became art and identity, a way to stand out in a helmeted sport where faces are covered and tape runs long. Players loved telling stories with their feet. Uniform rules and sponsor realities pulled it back. Week to week, designs have to match team colors and approved specs, both for safety and brand alignment. The compromise kept creativity alive, a late-season window for charity-driven customs. The rest of the year stays clean and coordinated for broadcast. Socks and leg coverage. Some players rolled socks for comfort, ritual, or just to break up the silhouette. Others experimented with lengths and patterns to carve out a signature look in close-up shots and end-zone celebrations. The league wanted the opposite. One team, one look from shoe to below the knee. Bare skin between shoe and pant is out, and the whole roster matches the chosen style. It's a tiny detail with big TV impact. Uniform lines read better in 4K, and sponsors prefer consistency. Jewelry and hard objects, chains, rings, and even designer watches became part of the pregame walk-in and sometimes slipped into live snaps. For players, it's identity and status, a way to feel like themselves under the pads and to create viral moments that live beyond the final whistle. Once the ball is live, metal turns from style to safety hazard. Exposed hard objects can cut skin, snag on jerseys, or escalate scrums. Officials let fashion breathe in warm-ups. On the field, anything hard and exposed has to go. The look can wait, the stitches shouldn't. Untucked jerseys and exposed backplates. An untucked jersey and visible backplate broadcast a rough and ready attitude. Some players swear it feels freer. Others just like the swagger. The aesthetic pops in motion until a hand catches what shouldn't be exposed. Uniform inspectors push back for both look and safety. Jerseys stay tucked, pads and backplates stay covered, and the overall silhouette stays clean. It keeps tackles tidier and broadcasts sharper, with warnings first and fines if it becomes a habit. Mandatory knee and thigh pads. Skill players used to shed lower body pads chasing fractional speed and looser hips, especially in spread offenses. When milliseconds and short areas matter, anything that feels lighter becomes tempting. The league drew a hard line: protection first. Mandatory knee and thigh pads curb contusions, reduce time lost, and send a message to lower levels of the sport about baseline safety. Modern pads are lighter, but the mandate is the point. Everyone protects the essentials. Neck rolls and cowboy collars. The foam fortress look of the 80s and 90s screamed intimidation and promised whiplash help. Linebackers wore collars like a badge, and the visual told ball carriers exactly what brand of hit was coming. As shoulder pad engineering improved, that bulk became redundant. The support migrated into lighter, integrated designs. No formal band, just a natural fade out as performance gear got smarter and sleeker. The classic collar lives on mostly in throwback clips. Cast, clubs, and oversized padding players came back from hand and wrist injuries with heavy protective casts that, honestly, doubled as psychological weapons. Wrapped right, they let defenders stay on the field and still deliver a message in the pile. Rules evolved to separate protection from advantage. Braces and casts must be properly padded and proportional, so they shield the injury without turning into a battering ram. Inspectors check materials and size pre-game. The goal is simple: play safe, not armed. Helmet customization and alternates. Players have always wanted signature helmets. Chrome, custom paint, personal decals, to stand out in a league of look-alike armor. Identity matters when your face is hidden most of the game. Safety standards and brand consistency close that door at the individual level. Teams, however, regain the option to run approved alternate and throwback shells, so the variety returns as a coordinated look, not a free-for-all. Retro Knights scratch the style itch, the base rules protect the shell. Third-party logos and personal brands. Modern athletes are entrepreneurs. Bringing a personal logo onto tape, towels, or sleeves is a tempting way to turn national TV into a billboard, especially when walk-in fits already drive culture off the field. On-field time belongs to league and team partners. The NFL locks down visible marks to protect sponsorships and maintain a single, professional presentation. Creators still create, just not during the broadcast window between the lines. Patterned/graphic visors, graphic shields with flags, flames, and chrome finishes looked incredible in photos and games, giving players personality right through the face mask. For a moment, it felt like the future of drip had landed on Sundays. Game day stayed conservative. Patterned or dark coatings distract, complicate medical eye checks, and break uniform lines. The visor rule tracks with the medical logic. Clear or light approved, tints only. Save the graphics for warm-ups and social feeds. Towels and sideline accessories. The long, trailing towel became part ritual, part signature. Some players stacked wristbands, sleeves, and extras to build a look that felt uniquely theirs. Officials keep the small stuff from becoming a big deal. Towels have limits on size, placement, and number. Accessories align with team colors. And personal messages don't make the cut. It prevents visual tricks, keeps cameras focused on football, and preserves the sport's unified look. Sometimes it's safety, sometimes it's branding, and sometimes it's both. Either way, these rules shape how the NFL looks every Sunday. If you could bring one accessory back for a single week, full mirror visors, combat cages, or billboard cleats, what would it be and why? And which restriction actually makes the game better? Drop your take.